Hello everybody, it's me again, and today I am back with some more maths. So, yesterday we had a look at lines of symmetry, and today we're going to be moving on to looking at repeated patterns. So I'd like you to have a look at the slide that you can see on your screen, and I'd like you to have a look at the shapes along the top here. And I'd like you to have a think, do you think this is a repeating pattern? How do you know? And how do you think you would explain the pattern? So pause this video and have a look at the shapes. What do you think a repeating pattern is? And what can you see here? Can you explain the pattern you can see on the board? So this is a repeating pattern, and a repeating pattern is something which is repeated more than once. It's when a pattern has a certain rule or a certain order. So we can see that the shapes on the board are in a certain order, and they will then be repeated into a repeating pattern. So I've got a pentagon, rectangle, circle. That's my pattern, and it's then repeated again for a second time. Pentagon, rectangle, circle. So it is a repeating pattern because they're in a certain order, pentagon, rectangle, circle, and it's repeated again in the same order. And it's really important that when we're looking at repeating patterns, it's in exactly the same order. So pentagon, rectangle, circle, pentagon, rectangle, circle. What do you think the next shape would be that comes next? We know it goes pentagon, rectangle, circle. What shape can you see that comes after the circle that's going to come next in our repeating pattern? I can see it's the pentagon. So our next shape that would come after the circle is the pentagon. So we can see I've now added our pentagon to carry on the repeating pattern. Pentagon, rectangle, circle, pentagon, rectangle, circle, and we said the next shape would be a pentagon. Let's have a look at this next pattern. Is it a repeating pattern? And can you point to which shapes we could circle that have been repeated? Which shapes can we see that repeat, that we can see more than once? Pause the video and see which shapes you can see more than once. So we'll start from the beginning. I can see a triangle here, and I can also see a triangle here. I can see a square, and I can see a square here. And I can also see a circle here and a circle here. So we know it is a repeating pattern because I can see these shapes more than once. Let's just check they're definitely in the same order. Triangle, square, circle, triangle, square, circle. They are in the same order. It is a repeating pattern. On a piece of paper or whiteboard, could you have a go at drawing the next 4 shapes in this pattern? So remember, the pattern is triangle, square, circle. Triangle, square, circle. Can you have a go at drawing the next 4 shapes? Pause the video. So the next 4 shapes in our repeating pattern that you should have drawn is triangle, square, circle, triangle. They should be the next 4 shapes of our repeating pattern. Let's have another look at a different pattern. So this time it's saying, can you draw the next 3 shapes in this pattern? So let's find out what our pattern is first. And this time I'm going to write it down as well to help us. We've got triangle, square, square, circle. Let's check. Triangle, square, square, circle. Triangle, square, square, circle. So that is our repeating pattern. Can you pause the video again and have another go at drawing the next 3 shapes for this pattern? So the next 3 shapes you should have drawn to continue our repeating pattern is triangle, square, square. Let's just check it's definitely repeating in the correct order. Triangle, square, square, circle. Triangle, square, square, circle. And the next 3 shapes would be triangle, square, square. These are the 3 shapes you should have drawn. This time it's asking us if this statement is true or false. So I've got a repeating pattern here. Triangle, hexagon, square. Triangle, hexagon. It says the next shape in this pattern is a triangle. Pause the video and have a look at the repeating pattern. Do you think it's true or false, and can you explain how you know? Okay, so I have continued to draw the repeating pattern and I can see that the next shape should be a square. Let's check. Triangle, hexagon, square. Triangle, hexagon, square. So you should have said that this statement is false because the next shape should be a square to follow the repeating pattern. Okay, let's have a look at another question. This time it's a little bit tricky. It's asking us what shape will come 10th. So we're thinking about which one is 10th in this sequence. How do we think we could work it out? I think to work it out, we could continue drawing the sequence. So we can see already we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to find out the 10th shape. So you're going to draw the next 5 to work out which is the 10th shape in this sequence. So on your same piece of paper, can you draw the next 5 shapes to find out the 10th of this pattern? Okay, so to work it out, you should have drawn the sequence like you can see on the screen up until the 10th shape. Let's just check we've definitely got 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to check that the sequence is in the correct order. Circle, square, pentagon, circle, square, pentagon, circle, square, pentagon, circle. The 10th shape in the sequence is the circle. Next, we've got a problem and it says Jada and Kian are talking about the following pattern. So here's their pattern they've created. Jada thinks the 9th shape is a hexagon, whereas Kian thinks the 9th shape is a circle. Who do you agree with and why? So like the last question, I would draw out the shapes. Let's check how many we've got so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We want the 9th shape. So you need to draw 2 more to find out who is correct. Pause the video and see if you can work it out. Okay, so I have drawn the next 2 shapes. We've got triangle, circle, hexagon, triangle, circle, hexagon, triangle, circle, hexagon. So the 9th shape is the hexagon. So you should have agreed with Jada. And we should have agreed with Jada because we have drawn the repeating pattern and we know that the hexagon comes after the circle. Next, it's asking us to draw the shapes to represent the pattern. But this time, it hasn't drawn us the pattern, it's given us the names and we need to draw it. So I'm going to read it to you and then you might want to pause the video to draw it on your piece of paper. Triangle, square, square, circle. Triangle, square, square, circle. On your piece of paper, can you draw the repeating pattern? Okay, so on the screen you should see the pattern. Triangle, square, square, circle. Triangle, square, square, circle. This is the repeating pattern you should have drawn on your piece of paper. Lastly, our question says 2 friends were talking about this pattern. The second shape is a triangle, the first shape is a hexagon, and the third shape is a circle. Can you draw this pattern for me on your piece of paper? Remember to read each sentence really carefully. Okay, so here is my repeating pattern. The second shape is a triangle. Let's check. My second shape is a triangle. The first shape is a hexagon. And the third shape is a circle. This is what your repeating pattern should look like. I'd now like you to continue this repeating pattern and tell me, what would the 8th shape be? The 8th shape. So I have continued the pattern. Let's just check I've definitely got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th shape in the pattern should be the triangle. Okay, so your activities today, your first activity is this sheet here, and it says, can I describe a sequence and continue a repeating pattern? So you've got 3 different patterns here. You need to draw the next 2 shapes for each sequence, and you can draw those on the piece of paper. It then says true or false. The next shape in this pattern will be a rectangle. You might want to continue drawing this on a spare piece of paper and then explain your answer. And the same for this question. It then moves on to saying which shape will come 10th and which shape will come 9th. Your second activity is this one here. You're drawing the pattern to match the sequence which is written for you in words. Then here, you're explaining who is correct and how you know. And your second challenge is this sheet here. Use 3 of these 2D shapes to make your own 3-step repeating pattern. So you need to choose 3 shapes and create your own pattern. Then, can you make a repeating pattern using only this shape? So they are your different activities for today. And we would love to see some of your work to show us what you have been up to. I hope you have a fantastic day, and you will see me again tomorrow for some more learning. Bye!